This is News Channel 12 at noon.
We are following new developments in the case of a baby who died Tuesday afternoon. Her mother and father are charged with capital murder in connection to her death. This is what we know right now about this case. The mother, 23-year-old Jasmine Porter, was in court this morning. She was taken into custody Tuesday, the day 18-month-old Jada Williams died at Central Mississippi Medical Center. Jackson police are now looking for Jada's father, 23-year-old Johnny Williams. The charges are for capital murder because the autopsy shows Jada was severely beaten and had bruises on her abdomen and lower extremities. News Channel 12's Melissa Faith Payne is live for us today at noon. She's outside JPD headquarters where Jasmine Porter made her initial appearance this morning. And Melissa, we understand that family members were also in court. Tell us what happened.
They were in court today, and when Jasmine Porter was led in, she immediately burst into tears. She glanced back at her family just one time before sitting on that front row. She never said a word until she was called for to speak with the judge. When she was led out and when she left to head back to her cell, this is what she had to say to our cameras.
Can you tell us what killed my baby? Who did it?
Those were the only words that she spoke. We did try to speak with some of her family members, but of course they were visibly shaken, very upset, not wanting to speak with us. They told us the next step for them is to get an attorney for Jasmine Porter. She does not have an attorney on record. They did have a pastor there with the family who said maybe at one point they'll want to talk, but right now the first thing they need to do is get an attorney. And of course we are gathering more information about Jasmine Porter. We have learned that Jada may not have been her only child. She may have had at least 3 other children. Jackson police are not really releasing a lot of information about this case, saying this is a very sensitive subject. We do believe that it was Jasmine Porter who took her daughter to the hospital, but police tell us little Jada was already dead when CMMC officials began examining her. It was hospital officials that called police and thus led us to where we are now. So, Aaron, the very next step in this case is for family members to get that attorney, and of course they are still searching for little Jada's father, Johnny Williams. He, of course, is still on the loose. Police are hoping that once he realizes that he is a wanted man, he'll do the right thing and turn himself in. Aaron?
All right, such a sad story all the way around. Yes. Thank you so much, Melissa. Well, there's a new report that finds Mississippi is failing to investigate most child abuse complaints from children in its care within the required 24 hours. Officials are also not completing most investigations within 30 days. These are just some of the findings released by the independent monitor appointed by a federal court to oversee the state's progress in meeting requirements of a 2008 settlement. It stemmed from a class action lawsuit filed by a child's advocacy group. The court-appointed monitor says the state has made some progress, but not enough. The deputy director of the Mississippi Department of Human Services says they're working diligently to satisfy that agreement. We'll have more on this today at News Channel 12 at 5. Well, Jackson homicide detectives are also investigating a 4th of July murder. Precinct 4 officers were called to Manhattan Road near Woodway Drive around 9:45 last night for a shooting. When they got there, they found 21-year-old Frederick Williams. He died before paramedics could get to the scene. Now, the search is on for his killer. Please call Crime Stoppers or Jackson Police if you have any information that can lead to an arrest. Also for you today at noon, a detention hearing is set for 1 this afternoon for a former Jackson police officer accused of taking bribes. Monette Jefferson wants to get out of jail until his trial next month. The federal government has opposed that because prosecutors say he's dangerous. Jefferson, along with Terrence Jenkins and Anthony Payne, were arraigned in March. All have pled not guilty. The 3 are accused of accepting bribes to provide protection for men they thought were drug dealers. Those men were actually FBI agents. The shipment that they were trying to protect came into Hawkins Field. In the 6-count indictment, Jefferson is accused of accepting more than $20,000 in bribes. Jenkins and Payne are accused of accepting $10,000 each.
Right now, temperatures are in the low 90s, mostly sunny skies out there. We're going to see the humidity, the cloud cover increasing as we go through the afternoon, and a chance of scattered storms just like yesterday. Our chances about 30%. Today, though, think the action is going to be coming in from the northeast. We got, of course, a lot of humidity in the air, and a disturbance is rotating around this big area of high pressure in the plain states. It's coming right down there from the northeast, so it should arrive during the daytime heating hours, the maximum heating hours, in just a couple of hours. So, again, that's going to set off a good round of storms, I think, a few of which could be on the strong side with heavy rain and gusty winds. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to give today a 5. Still going to be very hot and humid, but thankfully that rain is coming, and we desperately need it. Now, do we have any more rain in the forecast as we head into the weekend? We'll tell you about that coming up in the full forecast up in 6 minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ken. Well, lack of rain and scorching temperatures are forcing many counties in Mississippi to enforce burn bans. At this hour, at least 31 counties are affected. That's more than a third of the state. Rankin County is one of the latest counties added to the list. State forestry officials say it only takes a little wind behind a grass fire to make it spread. It could lead to acres of land being destroyed. If you're caught violating the burn bans, you could be fined up to $500. Well, a second suspect is arrested in the attempted robbery of a Brandon convenience store. 42-year-old Lynette Brown was picked up on a warrant for probation violation for child neglect from MDOC. She's the cousin of 22-year-old Roy Mitchell, who was arrested shortly after his mother stopped him from trying to rob D's one-stop gas station on Highway 80 in Brandon last Thursday. Now, police say Brown was sitting in the car outside the store and never went inside during the attempted robbery. She is currently in the Rankin County Jail waiting to be picked up by MDOC officials. Police say Mitchell took a bag of chips to the counter as he was trying to pay for them. Officers say he ended up pulling a gun and demanding money from the clerk. But Mitchell's mother was in the store at the same time and saw what was happening. She got her son and they drove away. Police stopped them in Pelahatchie, where Mitchell was arrested. An oncologist accused of hiring 2 men to kill the lawyer who represented his ex-wife when they divorced in the 1990s is asking the Mississippi Supreme Court for bail. LaFleur County courts have denied bond for 70-year-old Dr. Arnold Smith. He's charged with plotting to kill Greenwood attorney Lee Abraham and with the death of one of the hitmen he allegedly hired. The Supreme Court has not acted on the petition requesting bail. Now, officers with the Attorney General's office were meeting with attorney Abraham at his office back in April when 2 men walked in and there was a shootout. The men are suspected of being the ones that Dr. Smith allegedly hired to kill Abraham. Now, one of them died. Court documents show in exchange for bail, Dr. Smith is offering to give up his passport, wear an electronic monitoring device, and be put under a form of house arrest. The move would still allow him to treat cancer patients at his Greenwood clinic. In other news today at noon, Governor Phil Bryant is appointing 4 agency directors to help with oil spill recovery projects on the coast. Water pollution fines levied against BP and its partners will foot the bill, one that could turn out to be billions of dollars. Details on the recovery in this Rebuilding Mississippi update. 2 years ago, Mississippi's tourism industry took a big hit. At the time of the disaster, businesses were projected to lose some $120 million between May and August of that year. While some are still feeling the pinch, others say there's new growth and the economy there is turning around.
Bad things happen to good people. We are coping with that. We actually didn't have the amount of oil, thank goodness, that our neighbors to the east and the west of us did.
Tonight on News Channel 12 at 10, we take you to the coast to get answers about the progress being made and how this summer is shaping up for the tourism industry. Find out if it's worth your time and hard-earned money to go to the coast. Well, it has been 50 years since famed Mississippi author William Faulkner died. His hometown of Oxford is commemorating the occasion this Friday with several events. Now, roughly 25,000 people a year already visit Faulkner's antebellum home called Roanoke, where they can see his handwritten outline for the 1954 novel A Fable on the office walls. A life-size bronze statue of Faulkner sits in front of Oxford City Hall, making it a favorite spot for tourists to take photos. Now, Faulkner and his wife are both buried at St. Peter's Cemetery in Oxford. Fans pay tribute by pouring bourbon on his gravesite. Well, still ahead on News Channel 12 at noon, yet another twist in the high-profile Trayvon Martin murder case. George Zimmerman, the man charged with killing him, was back in court this morning. Find out what happened. But first, over to the weather lab to check in with Ken.
Well, Aaron, the Mississippi Braves, of course, are playing again tonight. There could be a rain delay at the beginning of this game with the Jackson Generals. Of course, Jackson in this case is Jackson in West Tennessee. Now, we will see some rain cool numbers, I think, in the 80s at the start of the game at 7 o'clock. After a delay, we will see those numbers dropping back into the mid-70s with fair skies by 10 p.m. I've got your forecast coming up next on News Channel 12.